everyone. This is Megan.
And this is Steven.
And this is the Synchrony podcast where we talk about transforming apostolic dating culture and ending loneliness in the church. And I made Steven a really bad cup of coffee.
I'll survive.
I never know. So we've been married for almost 10 years, right? I have never been able to nail your preferred
I know why.
sugar to cream ratio.
I know why.
Why?
You refuse to measure anything.
That's true. I want to measure with my heart, but apparently my heart is bad at guessing how much creamer.
That's why you should never listen to your heart.
Yeah. Listen to your heart. Yeah, no.
No, you usually get it right about 70% of the time.
Yeah, well, I usually overdo it. I put too much creamer in, and tonight I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to make it.
In the future,
Yeah.
I give you permission to overcream it.
Okay, good to know.
Because this is quite miserable.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just pretend to drink it.
Oh, no, I'm drinking it because I'm going to need it. But the coffee itself is not what's keeping me awake. It's the actual taste of the coffee.
Hey, babe, I owe you some congratulations.
On what?
You won a tournament this week.
Oh, yes.
Tell the people.
It was definitely not by myself. I had a great doubles partner.
It was a disc golf tournament.
Yeah. I was in a Glow disc golf tournament. It wasn't a tournament. It was just a single round hosted by Chris Dickerson. For all those who are disc golf fans and know the Pro Tour, I got to meet and hang out with Chris Dickerson. That was really cool.
Put a thumbs up if you are a disc golf fan, which means we might have one thumbs up.
I'm going to go for multiple YouTube accounts and thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
what is Glow Golf?
So Glow Golf is basically where you have discs that are made of a certain plastic that if you use black lights on them, they'll like glow. And also people take these like special bands that they can put on the actual disc golf basket and make the actual basket glow, or it's lit up. And so you play the normal course, but with glow discs and the basket lit up at night. It's really cool.
That is cool.
Especially because when we played, it was a full moon too.
Ooh.
It was really pretty. So we had fun. We did win.
Congratulations.
My doubles partner was killing it off the tee pad, and I was draining putts. So.
And if you know what that means, drop a like. Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. We went 13 down.
That's awesome. It's been a busy week. I feel like we're saying that every week these days, but it's nice to sit down and like actually hang out for a little bit.
Yeah. Excited.
Our topic tonight.
I changed my mind. I'm switching coffee with you.
Oh, we're done.
This is miserable.
I'm so sorry.
Prickly before coffee.
I now have a mug that says, "Dad, you are the sharpest tool in the shed."
This is so much better.
Mm-hmm. I'm very good at making my coffee.
Just make it the same way you make yours.
Yeah, but you usually want the creamer and not the sugar. Like mine is with sugar and fat free. I promise you
that's sugar free.
It's not. I remember which bottle I pulled out of the fridge and poured.
Was it the one in the front or the one behind?
The one in the back.
Okay.
The regular international whatever coffee creamer with the little slanty lid. I grabbed that one.
The sugar-free one is also slanty lid.
No, it's not the sugar-free one. This time right now it's like a.
We're going to go after this and we're going to check.
Okay. Anyway, this is actually weirdly a very pertinent topic.
Okay.
It fits. Okay, I'm going to start with my random on the spot question for you, as is my trope.
Okay.
What's the most romantic thing you feel like we've ever done for each other?
It's a very short list.
It's fair. Yeah. Not making you coffee, obviously. Oh, that's awful.
I told you.
Go ahead.
I would have to say my engagement.
Your engagement was mad romantic.
I say our engagement.
It was your plan.
My plan for the engagement.
Yeah, it was very romantic.
Yeah, it was a really cool setup. We recorded the whole thing. We had my friends from West Palm travel up. It was cool. It got your friends involved that you had no idea.
What specifically about the plan? I agree with you, but what makes it romantic?
My version of romantic is you doing anything that's like you're going out of your way to make it special for just strict level of specialness. Like it's not even
Yeah.
about like how much money you're spending. It's about the intentionality and how much, I don't want to say effort, but like how much effort you went into planning it. And like in this situation, our engagement, it was without you knowing.
Yeah, there's like an effort of above and beyondness.
Yeah.
Like I think
More
sometimes
effort went into it than you recognized. And it
initially,
didn't
yeah.
need to be recognized. It was like,
Yeah, it's something where there's expectation and then there's high above expectations for the sake of demonstrating love to someone, right?
It's a well executed plan that was well thought out, and it is for the strict pleasure of your partner. Like,
Yeah. And everyone who saw the video later.
yeah, sure.
Um
We'll drop it in the description.
so I think that's a good example. You made a point though, jokingly, which is that like our marriage since then has not really been full of grandiose romantic gestures.
I don't think it's something. I mean, I think you like it, but like it's something that isn't needed, that we haven't prioritized.
It's not the most important part of our relationship.
I guess isn't needed isn't the right word. It's just not. It hasn't been prioritized, and like we communicate very often with each other, and so like I think we're like, let's not spend money right now.
So I want to talk about romance as a concept.
Yeah.
And this is going to get a little bit weedy, but I'm hoping to kind of tether it to some really relatable stuff.
Okay.
So we're going to start not by talking about romance. We're going to start by talking about sugar.
Yeah.
This will all come together in the end, I promise.
Honey?
Actually, no, we're going to skip to refined sugar.
Oh, okay.
So you make a good point though. Okay. So when we are in the Bible, when we're hearing about like sweet foods, what are they usually sweetened with? Honey, right? Lily's been learning in her Bible verses. She's been learning a scripture, sweeter also than honey in the honeycomb, right? Honey is the go-to sweetener for a long time. It's a naturally occurring sugar that was fairly readily accessible. I mean, probably hard to come by, but accessible in biblical times. Do you have any guess as to when humans started to refine sugar for the first time, like from sugarcane?
If I had to guess, probably like the 1800s.
Way before that, actually.
Really?
Yeah, about 500 BC. So 500 years before the birth of Christ. Around the time of
Whoops, I was way off.
Around the time of the Babylonian captivity.
Okay.
And it happened in India.
I was just thinking of strict correlation with obesity. So that's why I was saying the 1800s.
Yeah, so we're going there. Yeah. Okay. So 500 years before the birth of Christ in India, they figure out how to take sugarcane juice and concentrate it by boiling off the water and the juice to create granulated sugar.
Okay.
Right. And then that starts to spread throughout the Middle East, primarily and along trade routes, along the Silk Road, eventually makes it into Europe, et cetera, becomes a cornerstone of trade. But it takes a very long time for granulated processed sugar to become a commodity around the world, right?
Yeah.
So it's a slow addition into our diet. And for a long time, it wasn't something that was very easy to come by, right?
Yeah.
Humans, though, we do this thing where when we find something that we like, we concentrate it.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. And some of this I think has to do, I'm not a neuroscientist, so take this with a grain of salt, but some of it I think has to do with like how endorphins and dopamine works.
Yeah.
Where when you have like a pleasurable stimulus, humans like, we're like rats. We're not too far apart from rats.
You just like press the button over and over again.
Okay. Yeah. So that's, what study are you referencing there? Do you remember?
I don't know the exact study, but I know they're talking about like dopamine. And like, isn't there one that like the mouse that got hooked to whatever they were studying ended up doing it so much that he killed himself? Yeah.
So the study, this sounds horrible in terms of just like in terms of just like compassion for animals, but they did this study. I don't remember when or who. So go search this and you can make sure that I'm saying the right thing. A rat study where they were looking at basically like addiction.
Yeah.
And they effectively like hotwired this rat to where they put a probe into the rat's brain, and in the rat's cage there was a button or some kind of thing that the rat could press or trigger, and it would effectively poke a part of the rat's brain that would cause the brain to release dopamine, right? Or a pleasure center would cause a dopamine cascade. And so the rat eventually figured this out, pressed the button. Oh my goodness, the happy brain juices. Wowie wow. So the rat figured this out and would go push the button until it basically caused its brain to overload and like it killed itself, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't eating. It was, forsaking food and drink to just push this button all the time.
Yeah.
Right. So humans are a lot like that, where when we find something that makes us feel good, that we like, that's really highly palatable, we go after it.
Yep.
And sugar by itself is a food that checks a lot of those boxes. It is high caloric, it has a high caloric density, meaning you get a lot of calories for a small amount of physical matter. And our bodies are trained to seek out that kind of food, right? Ye old hunter-gatherers or whatever were like, how can we get the most caloric bang for our buck? Which item in this wilderness is going to give us the most amount of calories and nutrients for the smallest amount of energy output?
Yeah.
So our bodies are primed to go seek out nutrient-dense foods. Sugar, it's not particularly nutrient-dense, but it's very calorically dense.
Yeah.
And it tastes good.
Yeah, for sure.
It makes us happy. So we started to incorporate sugar into all kinds of different stuff, right? And obviously now, if you go into any store and pick up something on the shelf and you look at its ingredients, there's massive quantities of sugar.
Yeah, and a large part of that is actually high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah. Sugar's become so important to us that we had to go find other kinds.
Yeah.
To concentrate
That's more
down.
mass produced.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. Cane sugar is pretty mass produced as well. But yeah, it's the same idea, right?
Yeah, but I think the reason why corn syrup is so sought after is because it's cheaper to farm.
To produce. Yeah,
and
for
to
sure.
produce, yeah.
I guess we're making corn like crazy.
Yeah.
Humans do this thing where we find this nice palatable thing and we seek it out. We find this flavor that we like and we aim for it.
Yeah.
You could say the same thing about like MSG, which is basically like concentrated umami, right? If we can add that stuff to something, we're going to do it because we like it when that flavor is heightened.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm going back to romance.
Okay.
When do you think the first romance novel was ever written?
Oh boy. Is it before Song of Solomon?
Ugh,
I told you this is miserable.
I'm so sorry.
That tastes like you did the sugar free and it was not enough.
It's not. It tastes like it doesn't have creamer. Sugar
Then
free.
someone freaky fried it then.
No, it was me. I just didn't. I made strong coffee and didn't add enough creamer. So specifically romance novel, not necessarily the first love poetry,
okay.
but romance novel.
Oh, well, I was only about 2,300 years off in the first one.
No pressure.
Novel? Does that also mean like an actual?
Not have to be a physical book, just a romance, a
story,
a romance book, not a poem or an epic or a play. That specifically, the whole plot of the book really revolves around this couple and their love.
Guess 1500 BC.
No. Actually, and obviously, I'm sure that like literary scholars debate this, but what a lot of people say was the first novel was written like in the first century, so probably around the time of the day of Pentecost. Hilariously, around the time of the founding of the church. I gotta remind myself.
I wonder how much later was porn also developed.
Porn pre-existed this.
I knew there was like sculptures. I knew there was paintings.
No, like
actual paper porn.
I don't know about paper, but
that's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. Like you said, romance novels. I'm wondering at one point did someone start etching porn?
Probably as soon as they possibly could, my man. Like that
was sold on the black market.
So the first theoretic, and when I say romance novel, what they've found is a partially intact manuscript on like vellum that was written by a Greek author. Yeah. So around the time of the start of the early church, this was the book is called Caleroa, which is the name of the heroine of the book. And I've never read this, but I looked up a synopsis. Horrible plot.
Oh, sure.
And the plot basically
we only have enough off of one page though, right?
it's not just one page, but it's kind of, the manuscript is sort of mangled. So they had to piece bunches and pieces of it together.
Okay. So it's kind of like
and it was
jigsaw puzzle
circulated.
Sort of.
It's not like there was only ever one copy
I
of
see.
it.
Okay.
Right. So they put it together. The main plot of this romance is a beautiful princess falls in love with this nice, handsome young man. They fall in love. They get married. Then someone spreads a rumor about her that she's been unfaithful, and he gets angry at her and kicks her down some stairs. And he thinks he kills her and is sad. And they have a funeral and they bury her in a tomb. Turns out she was just in a coma and nobody could tell. This is a weird theme. And so she wakes up and pops out of her tomb only to be absconded by a bunch of pirates who take her away and sell her off as a bride to some faraway king. So she's sold off as a bride, but she's pregnant with her original husband's baby and has to pass off the baby as her new husband's baby. And basically they live life for years, and there's all this intrigue, and the first husband guy she was in love with is off like at war and who knows, whatever. And eventually round and around, things would go crazy. They meet up again in the future, and her second husband, I guess, dies, and her son comes over, and then like they're a happy family. It's a terrible plot.
But being the first novel, there's a romance novel. There's not a lot to compare to. So
no, and this isn't to say that this is the first time like love was ever discussed, right?
No,
like,
but romance novel though, like
where the whole plot is really about
like they
this
are the
relationship.
pioneer of
right, and it's kind of like a will they, won't they, like long, complicated, like based on horrible communication breakdowns.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it to be like Tolkien, you know.
No, and you know, and obviously, like you mentioned before, we've seen other examples of like love poetry, right? So we do have the Song of Solomon. We have the Legend of Gilgamesh has some romance in it. Like there's other ancient texts that refer to sort of romantic themes.
Yeah.
But this is the first one where it's a whole story, a whole written, you know, volume that's really focused on this relationship, this couple.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to make the comparison that romance and sugar are very similar.
Okay.
In that over time, like people love romance, right? We love these like kind of grandiose, overwhelming gestures of a demonstration of love, right? The more epic, the better. They make us feel all the happy feelings. Thinking about them and experience about them is really exciting, right? Yeah. And over time and throughout history, we figured out, just in the way we figured out how to refine sugar and add it into everything, we figured out how to concentrate the feelings that we get from romance and insert it into all parts of life, right?
Yep.
And it's not just the books and it's not just the movies. It also lives in our expectations for actual relationships with each other.
Oh, sure.
Do you remember like the whole, like, okay, this is a weird example of this, but like when you were in high school, I didn't actually go to prom. I don't know if you went to prom.
I did not.
Okay, but do you remember like people getting asked out to prom?
I think so.
Well, like, do you remember like how it worked? Like,
no, only because my last semester, I actually only had 2 classes required of me. And in order to go in person, you had to have a minimum of 4 classes. So because I only had 2, I did the last 2 online.
Okay.
So my last semester of high school experience, I didn't go. So I didn't see anything that happened of the last semester of everyone celebrating, seeing each other and crying or whatever for leaving high school.
You could have just said no, but instead we had the whole sob story. I'm just kidding.
All right.
I'm sorry. But I mean, like, okay, so even before it was your senior prom, like you'd like seen like couples in high school. My point is that when we were in high school, I don't think asking someone out to prom was a massive deal. Like people did it and they would find cute ways to do it,
sure.
Right? Like I remember one kid at my school who was in charge of like doing like news announcements on like the school thing. One day, like was randomly like, Emily, will you go to prom with me? Like at the end, and they were already dating, so nobody was surprised by this or whatever. Sure. But you know, it's kind of cute, kind of romantic, right? Grandiose demonstration in front of the whole school. Nothing compared to like the promposal.
Oh no.
Movement ? Like trend that's been on social media the last few years. It's wild. Like teenagers like falling over each other to create these really grandiose gestures to ask people out to prom that they might not even be officially dating. It's just the initial "will you go to prom with me" thing. Blows my mind.
Well, what's funny is now that you say that, like this is like the whole like effect of social media, which, I'm not here to bash social media. I know it is toxic. I know it also has its benefits, I guess.
Mm.
But it's one of those things is if you look back compared to romance and everything along with it, it slowly raised the bar of expectation.
And this goes back to what we were talking about with sugar and how it works with your brain chemicals, right?
Yeah.
When you have a pleasurable stimulus of any kind, and you are exposed to that stimulus at the same level for a while, eventually your brain will stop, and I'm simplifying this based on my understanding of neuroscience. Once again, asterisk, not a neuroscientist, but based on my understanding, your brain can only produce so much of a certain chemical related to one stimulus, right? Like, and then eventually, like, you have a bit of a drop off period.
Yeah.
To create the same level of neurotransmitter release, you have to up the level of stimulus slightly.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's why drug use is so bad. That's why like unchecked pornography addictions are so bad. It's like, it's like the last hit over an extended period of time. The last hit is not enough. And so it goes higher and higher.
Right. You keep ratcheting up the intensity of what you're exposing yourself to. The same thing could be said for like people that are like adrenaline junkies.
Sure.
Right. Like, they often have to ratchet up, or even just like people who get a lot of dopamine out of a certain kind of achievement. Like they have to keep ratcheting up the level of what they're doing because it's not as exciting or as fulfilling if you are just doing the same thing you did last time.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like watching Nitro Circus.
Huh?
Sorry. Nitro Circus is basically.
Is this a show?
So Nitro Circus is basically Travis Pastrana and like a bunch of professional dirt bikers.
Okay.
And they basically do crazy tricks on different ATVs, four-wheelers, stunts, dirt bikes, whatever it may be, usually centered around things with motors. And what happens is you have one person who does this crazy trick, and then the next time it's someone trying to one up that crazier trick and crazier trick until someone dies and they're like, well, let's not do that. And then 10 years later it's like, oh, you know what, let's try that again.
Yeah, it's like Evel Knievel, right?
Yeah,
like
over and over and over again.
Right.
Yeah.
You're constantly raising the bar for attention.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it goes to
like Travis, like almost every bone in his body has been replaced with metal.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Like he's like a bionic man.
It goes to how we use social media too, though, right? Like, I think that, I think about the length of videos that are popular now and the intensity of the stuff that'll pop up on a feed just as you're scrolling now compared to 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's changed. Our appetite has changed as a culture. I think romance is part of that. And the difficult part about it is I don't think there's anything bad about romance at its core. I don't think there's anything wrong with sugar at its core.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Having someone overtly demonstrate their love to you is pleasurable.
Yeah, and it should be.
And good.
Yeah.
Right? But I think that we've made this mistake where because we've been hyper exposed to romance and because it's intermingled with our ideas of love and relationships and marriage and everything else, we think that romance and those hyper concentrated feelings are like the cornerstone of what a relationship is supposed to be about.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I don't think that's true.
No, I agree.
So when we look back at like a lot of times when we're talking about, going back to biblical relationships, one of the difficult things for people in our culture is when we look back at stories of biblical courtship or whatever, of which there aren't a ton because the Bible is not a romance novel. There are not overt romantic themes in many of those stories, but we try to impose them on them.
Oh, sure.
I
don't want to say Hollywoodize them, but you basically like you make them into a movie or a funny or a love story.
It's like, did I ever tell you about watching One Night with the King with the girls when we were in West Virginia?
You probably did, but I don't remember.
A while ago. It's been over a year now. I went to West Virginia with some of my friends, and I was like, oh, I remember like we were all hanging out. We wanted to watch a movie, and I was like, oh, we should watch One Night with the King. I remember it being really good when I was like in college or something. One Night with the King is a dramatization of the Esther story.
Oh gosh.
Terrible. But it's worth going and reading the Rotten Tomatoes reviews because they will have you crying laughing like so bad. And one of the reasons why it was so bad is because this relationship between Ahasuerus and Hadassah, as it's depicted in the movie, is so unbelievable. It's insane.
Yeah.
Because they tried to make this a romantic story when it's really not. Ultimately it's a political story with demonstrations of faith and miraculous intervention, right?
Yeah.
Not romantic.
No.
In fact, a little bit like rapey if we're backing out slightly. I mean,
yeah,
he,
sure.
Basically captures all the women in the land that are eligible
Yeah,
and
very
then
much so.
sticks them in a harem, So not overtly romantic. Ruth and Boaz, not overtly romantic, right? Like most of when we point to relationships in scripture, they are not infused heavily with romantic overtones. And that weirds people out in our modern culture, I think, because the expectation is that good relationships start from a basis of romantic love.
Yep. And it's sad because like if you look at good quality relationships that last a long time, it comes from a foundation of going the same direction, not necessarily doing the same things, but going the same direction.
Yeah.
Having similar lifestyles, having similar goals, values, and then everything else follows. Whereas if it's like you said, it's like building your nutritional pyramid with the bottom being sugar.
Yeah, the base of it.
And that's obviously not a foundation that's going to last long,
right,
without getting extreme diabetes.
Sugar diabetes.
Diabetes.
So it's one of those things where I don't want people to hear like we don't want relationships to be romantic at all.
Of course not.
I think there was I think romance is very cute because it's about demonstrating thoughtfulness.
Yeah.
Knowing what someone likes and what makes them happy and doing that for them.
Yeah.
I think it can be really sweet. I will say that I think romance should be more about what makes the other person happy and not what makes all of the societal spectators think is cute. Like,
oh, sure.
And I feel like that gets mixed up a lot.
I think that the romance is where you pay attention to your loved one's wants and interests and intertwine those things into said thing you're doing. Yeah, right. And it's like paying attention to the small details that they didn't know you picked up on.
Yeah.
And then doing those things. Like I saw something I get pleasure for you on is like when I hear you say, oh, like in passing, like I want this thing, or there's something that I've been really thinking about lately and it's really cool. And then a month or two goes by and you've completely forgotten about it because you've gone on 17 other ADHD hyperfixations. And
accurate.
But then, an event rolls around, or just because we had a little money in this account or whatever, I buy that thing for you. And you're like, oh my gosh, like, how do you remember that? And be like, I have no idea.
Yeah. One of the most romantic things I feel like you've ever
kombucha
done.
funnel.
No. I do love that. Stephen, I went through a phase of making kombucha. And y'all anti-alcohol purists don't come for me. It has barely any alcohol content. Go look it up.
It's very, 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 very. You need like a whole 24 pack.
Kombucha, for those of you who don't know, is a fermented tea.
Yes.
It's basically tea that you make bubbly naturally.
Yeah.
And I went through a fermentation phase before 2020, before it was cool.
Yes.
And
what is it?
It's 2018.
No, I'm trying to think of the name of the SCOBY.
Oh yeah, I named
Eula or something.
Bertha. Maybe Bertha. I named the symbiotic colony of bacteria and yeast, which is abbreviated to be SCOBY, which is the thing that makes the tea ferment. I named it and kept it. It was kind of like a pet because you have to feed it. Anyway,
I'm sorry, people.
this got weird. What was I saying before that? Before I was so rudely interrupted.
Romantic gifts.
Oh yeah, one of the most romantic things you ever did for me was on a random day you like brought home a sketchbook for me. And I just thought it was the sweetest thing ever because it just showed me that you'd been paying attention to things that I enjoyed and like wanted to support me in what I was doing.
It wasn't just a sketchbook. It was a sketchbook with a bunch of different shades of...
It came with a bunch of different pencils.
Shade pencils,
yeah. Shading pencils. It was really nice.
Not pencils that threw shade.
Steven. Anyway, so...
Come on, that was a good one.
No. So romance is fine, right? In the same way that sugar is fine.
Yeah.
But it needs to have its place.
You're fine.
Thank you. You're fine too. It needs to have its place in the architecture of our relationships.
Yes.
And it is not the cornerstone of our relationships.
Yeah, it should not be the thing that defines your relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like, you know, everything in moderation is fine, right? The dose makes the poison. It's okay to sweeten your relationships with a little bit of romance. I think that's lovely. But if you're trying to sustain your whole relationship on romance, like you were saying earlier, you can't survive on just sugar. Your relationship cannot be just about romance. I don't know if it's Arthur Brooks or if he's quoting other people when he talks about this, but the researchers have talked about the transition from romantic love to companionate love in long-term relationships, and how basically like there is a biological point at which your brain can no longer sustain the overwhelming, jaw-dropping, butterfly-inducing feelings of early love.
Of course not.
Like that is impossible for your body to produce constantly for years.
Yeah.
So at some point, your body has to change how it responds to this person in your life.
Yeah.
And they call that the shift to companionate love, where really it stops becoming about like all the romantic things that I'm doing with this person and me loving this person for who they are in my life and what we're doing together and what we're building together and the companionship that we share.
Which is why it is dangerous if you build it off of the sugar.
Yeah.
Because what happens when that's gone?
There's no substance.
There's no substance. You have nothing in common. There's no common grounds, common foundations, common interests, common anything, beliefs.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, I would say the same thing for like, you know, a lot of times romance is, it's tied in with attraction, right?
Yeah.
This idea that like I have to be consumed by attraction for this person. You're not going to be.
Nope.
Like, that's not how it works.
She does not wake up beautiful every day. I think you're beautiful.
Thanks.
But we all wake up with crazy hairdos and morning breath.
Dank breath. Yeah, 100%. And it's just like, it's not something that is going to be the thing that makes it stay.
Yes.
It's not going to be the basis. It's not going to be the staying power of a relationship. So I want to challenge the idea of romance and kind of point out the trickiness of it, because while I think it's fine to have romance in relationships, I also think that we're addicted to romance as a culture.
Yep. Well, and not only addicted, but we're creating it as a foundational building block or requirement to enter relationships.
Yeah.
Which is dangerous, because if that's the foundational block that of like you qualifying it being worth pursuing or not, that's already a red flag.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice to have the skills to woo someone,
yes.
right? Or to win them over or to court them effectively. That's great, right? But the goal of dating is not romance. The goal of dating is not the butterflies. The goal of dating is to find a partner for life.
Yep.
And if we are constantly feeding ourselves a diet of romance, and I'm preaching to myself here because I was talking to someone about this today, like women, I think are, at least right now, less likely to get addicted to pornography, like visual pornography, than men are. But women are highly likely to get addicted to romance.
Yes.
And I don't think it's less harmful.
Yeah.
Because it's not as shameful, because it's sort of, people don't really think of it as being that problematic, right? But if you are constantly feeding yourself a diet of romantic stories, romantic fiction, like this is something that the Lord has really been checking me about, because when I want to vanish from the world, like when I want to run away from my obligations, the pressures of life and ministry and work, I want to go bury myself in some sort of like fluffy K-drama.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
And it's not explicit and everyone's clothes are on, but I'm still dropping myself into a romantic fantasy in order to escape. And the more I feed myself that diet of romance and, exorbitant demonstrations of love, the less satisfied I feel. The more, the more you feed yourself that diet of over the top romance, right? Of grandiose demonstrations of love, the less satisfied you can become with everyday expressions of love and care.
Yeah.
And of course, in these romantic movies and books and whatever, the lead, generally speaking, has capabilities of demonstrating love that are absolutely beyond the capabilities of normal humans.
Oh, for sure.
Right. Either they are incredibly
and they
skilled.
happen to also be amazing mind readers.
Sure. So like, and this is kind of the trope, right? Like they're either like super skilled, like fighters, so they can fight off hordes of people that are coming to like, harm their beloved, right?
Yeah.
Like just superhuman levels. They're incredibly wealthy, so they can like purchase things or experiences or create these really grandiose experiences. Sometimes they have like special powers and they'll use that so basically like they present completely unrealistic and mythological, fantastical abilities to demonstrate love.
Yeah.
Well above the actual place where real humans can deliver romance.
Yeah.
And if you are constantly immersing yourself in that and feeding your brain that over and over and over, I do think it desensitizes you to actual honest to goodness, down to earth affection from other humans.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think it's not just sort of a something to keep an eye out for, that like romance is less important than we make it out to be. I think it's actually dangerous.
Yeah.
To constantly be exposing ourselves to these overly dramatized ideas of romance. And even though the church doesn't treat watching romances or reading romances the same degree as it treats watching pornography.
Yeah.
Frankly, I think they're doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's desensitizing people. And it's here's the thing is when you microdose,
Mm-hmm.
even though you understand logically that
Mm-hmm.
isn't real.
Yeah.
I think if you're not careful, it's slowly in very small increments
Mm-hmm.
changing your expectation of reality.
Right.
Because what's going to happen is over time, you're making small adjustments to your perspective of men
Mm-hmm.
and their expectation, or vice versa, expectation for women and how they're supposed to act,
Right.
to where it becomes like an actual philosophy you live by. Here's the hoping.
You guys won't see any of this, but we just fought for like 20 minutes with our SD cards in the when I say we, I mean Steven. Steven was fighting for his life over there, trying to get our cameras to behave. So
We've literally used these same SD cards for almost 100 episodes.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, all of a sudden, they're like, "Oh, insufficient recording speed." I'm like, "What?"
Maybe they're starting to give up the ghost. Also, shout out to the fact that we're almost at 100 episodes. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
That's pretty cool. So we'll wrap this up really quickly for the sake of your sanity.
Yeah,
just to recap, because I don't remember.
Absolute disaster to edit.
Yeah, I don't remember what we've covered and what we haven't. Just to kind of recap. So the thesis of this whole episode is that humans have a tendency to hyperfixate on flavors or things that result in a certain kind of feeling or response, right?
Yeah.
We do this with certain kinds of foods. We do it with certain activities. We also do it with romance, because romance generates all those happy, gushy brain juices that we love to feel.
Yep.
And over history, we have developed more and more capacity to concentrate our attention on those things. You think about this even with really quick, like with the fact that if we were to go back to dating right now, which I hope to never have to do again.
No, thank you.
Those of you out there in the dating trenches, just we're praying for you. It's hard. But like, so if we were to have to go back to start dating each other again, like just go back in time,
Yeah.
we could be potentially texting each other all day long.
I think we were doing that still.
I guess we were probably.
Yeah,
But
because we
like,
were long distance. So
yeah, like when you're dating, you can be in constant contact.
yeah.
Like think about dating 50 years ago,
Oh, sure.
right? If you weren't in the same physical place with them, you weren't talking to them.
Yeah.
Like
You're
you weren't
writing
just
letters.
yeah, or you weren't spending hours on a phone like
'Cause it
chatting with
costs
people.
money.
It costs money, and like your parents could listen in, and like maybe like a switchboard operator somewhere. I don't know how far back that was.
My sister is 49.
Okay, not quite that old. Sorry.
God, switchboard operators.
I lose time and space.
Golly.
Anyway, back in 500 CE. No. So we have this ability to constantly expose ourselves to romantic stimuli and generate this high level expectation for what romance is going to do.
Yeah.
And it's setting us up for failure in our actual relationships with real people.
Yep.
So I don't think the takeaway here is like get rid of your ideas about what romance is.
No, but see where it is in your pyramid of needs versus wants.
Yeah, like evaluate how much weight you're giving to it.
Yeah.
And consume relationship material that's not just about romance, which is hard to come by. Like I acknowledge.
Yeah, sure.
We don't have a ton of great books out there about like values alignment.
Yeah, and how many other relationships have you like passed by because the person didn't swoon you off the first date or the first look or the first anything?
Honestly, and to be real, like we love these gestures in romance books and movies and stuff, but in real life, when someone does something really romantic at the outset, it can come across as a bit cheesy.
Well, I mean, that's what I mean. Like the guy who sweeps you off your feet.
Yeah.
Right? That is a romantic gesture.
It is, but it's also like a trope that's been, you know
I know,
what I mean?
but I'm saying that's becoming a expectation.
Right.
Is the guy who walks in and you're at a loss of words because you don't know what to say because he's so beautiful and knows exactly what to say to you.
Yeah, honestly, these romantic gestures only work if you're insanely attractive. Like and when I say that, I mean,
Okay,
I'm saying not conventionally attractive people can certainly be romantic, but the idea of walking into a room and sweeping someone off their feet and coming across as cool and debonair and whatever only works if you are incredibly hot.
Okay.
If you trend toward the awkward side of the
what happened to you,
spectrum,
babe?
no. And you're really pretty, but I thought you were a cheese ball.
Oh, I was.
Like I was put off by I was put off by the vast majority of your early romantic gestures, and I just pushed past that.
I appreciate it.
You seemed like a nice guy.
Yeah.
And it was good because like, and you were being really sweet to me. And sometimes I was like, oh my God, like this is so like, I would tell you like, this is like super cheesy or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was almost to the point where it was uncomfortable because it was like, almost like eating something too sweet, right? Like it's like.
No, it's like the sharp cheddar cheese. Really sharp cheese.
Steven has a thing
when
for
it's
really
too sharp, it like hurts your molars, your masseter muscles.
Yeah, I know, but we were talking about sugar, so the cheese is kind of a departure from that. But
sorry.
But you're right, like a hyper concentrated flavor.
Yeah.
It's almost too much in real life.
Yeah.
Like I think actual love and that kind of connection usually comes on a bit more slowly and gently.
Yeah. Which I need to get the resource for this, but I was just listening to either a book or a podcast, I can't remember, where they were talking about the levels of men's vulnerability and where it comes from and how women communicate vulnerability.
It was that podcast with
was that
Dr. K and John Deloney.
And they were basically talking about
so
how
good.
Women usually build up over time in microdoses, basically a level of vulnerability
and intensity of their emotional interactions.
In intensity, whereas men go from 0 to hero because they don't know how to. They haven't been taught how to.
Mm-hmm.
And so when a man randomly goes and gets vulnerable with another man and starts talking about something heavy, they're like instantly crying and then instantly done.
Yeah.
And it says that sometimes in a romantic gesture or someone like, and I thought about me trying to date you.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think about it, you had no idea I was interested in you until all of a sudden it was like bleh, all at once.
Right.
And it
And then it
was,
was just like a wave of cheese. Like
yes.
you took me out to breakfast and like gave me this whole like note and
Yes.
very sweetly asked to walk down the beach and hold my hand. And it was like a lot at once.
Yeah. But you know what? I got pastor's approval.
You did.
So, but it was one of those things is like, it made me realize like, oh, that makes sense. Like guys are usually that like in all my interactions with guys that I try to encourage them to be vulnerable, it's like all or nothing. They either give me nothing or they just usually let down their walls and their walls are down.
Yeah.
And so it kind of, and he says, but that's why, and in the podcast, what was really cool about it is he said, that's why sometimes when a man all of a sudden becomes vulnerable to a woman, it's too much.
It gives her the ick.
It gives her the ick. Yeah. Right. It's like all of a sudden like, whoa, where is this coming from?
Because women.
And then what happens is when she gets icked by it or she gets freaked out by it, he ends up saying, well, I'm never going to do that again, because then what happens is his walls go up.
He made a really interesting point too, which is that men are socialized to be the stoic sort of like shock absorbers of women's emotional responses. So, you know, when we talk about crying onto someone's shoulder, we're talking about a woman crying into a man's shoulder often, you know what I mean? Men are meant to be able to absorb the overwhelming emotions of the women in their life and not not respond in equal strength, like be like, okay, it's going to be fine. Like they're there, whatever. Right. Whereas women,
my whole life.
Yeah. Women are more socialized to slowly ratchet up the emotional intensity of their interactions until it spills over in this massive kind of emotional like catharsis and then dies back down again.
Yeah, which obviously this isn't the same for every situation.
No, we're big stereotypes, but if you go listen to the podcast, it's interesting because they basically say when men allow themselves to sort of completely allow their feelings to overwhelm them for a moment in front of women aren't trained to deal with that from men the same way that men are trained to deal with that from women.
Yes.
And women often respond poorly.
Yeah, and women often want a emotionally vulnerable man, but when that man finally becomes vulnerable, and if they are not received the right way, they might get turned off for a long time.
Right.
Until that trust is built back up again.
Right.
And they're like, what happened? Where did all your wall, like basically, why are you all of a sudden stonewalling me? And it's like, well, I was vulnerable with you and never again.
Right. So all this to say is that this is just, I guess, another version of, our culture is creating expectations that are unrealistic, like that we beat that drum all the time. But I specifically want to challenge the idea that romance and romantic gestures should be the entry point to a good relationship. Not always. They're not always the basis. They're not always the best starting point. They're certainly not the best gauge for the overall outcome of the relationship.
No.
Right.
Now, the one caveat I will say is I can understand why romantic gestures are a gauge, is because it is showing how much attention to detail is said person able to do.
Yeah, but I don't think so.
But that shouldn't be the basis, the foundation for your relationship.
So romantic gestures can be one demonstration of that. Right?
Yeah, sure.
But it's also like, active listening is another demonstration of that, right? Like it doesn't have to be in a big grandiose gesture. Yeah. And those small moments of care and compassion, I think, are inherently romantic, but they're not coded that way in our culture.
Yeah.
So I think we need to be constantly challenging our diet, so to speak.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point.
Yeah, of the messaging that we're ingesting about relationships. And kind of reframing, like, which of these things are really valuable to bring into my perception of what my future relationship should look like.
Yeah.
Like there's a ton of influences out there, but you are likely to be listening and watching and paying attention to stuff that's heavily weighted toward romantic significance instead of alignment and values and the other things that really help a relationship last a long time.
Yeah.
Good talk. How's your coffee?
Much better than what yours was.
I'm almost done with it though. I powered through out of necessity.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
One of our kids is wiggling. So.
The baby monitor. Okay. I don't think we have any announcements going on right now. we're just,
besides Ryan?
well, people know that they got engaged already.
No, that's exciting. Marriage certificate?
We did get we got some very sweet news from a pair of dear clients who I am devastated that we won't be able to make it to their wedding.
I know. We wanted to go so bad.
I'm heartbroken. And I like called them to apologize and cry about it. And they very sweetly sent us a picture of them picking up their marriage certificate or their marriage license. I'm just so excited for them. This is Ryan and Victoria. Love you guys. They're going to be married the week of Easter, and so it's coming up in just a little while. And they're just so beautiful, and their whole story is beautiful, and they're going to like change the world. Victoria is a therapist, and Ryan is what I can only describe as a genius. Like he works in like cancer research, and he's got a gajillion degrees and is like the coolest, most funny, down to earth person ever. But they just have such a great perspective, and they're a cool, like cross-cultural marriage. I can't wait to see. They're having a wedding in the U.S. and they're also having a wedding in India.
I know. I was going to say, we can't make the one in the U.S., but let us know about the one in India.
We definitely cannot make the one in India. As much as I would love to be there.
I would love to go to India.
Yeah. But anyway, we love them.
It's a business expense.
Yeah. I'm not here to drain the coffers.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, we're excited for them. Hey, guess what? I love you.
I love you too.
Even though you were weirdly romantic at the beginning of our relationship, it worked out well for you in the end.
That's right.
Yeah.
You knew what you had coming.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, even though like there were parts of it that like felt really kind of like
he's either really sweet or really naive. Or both.
It was like there were parts of it that were kind of cheesy, but I had already been kind of through the ringer of dating guys who were like really cool in a really obnoxious way.
Yeah, sure.
And that hadn't worked out. And I was like, like maybe that's not the biggest deal that they like sweep me off my feet. Like, let's just kind of see how this plays out.
I wasn't the greaser you were looking for.
No. Yeah. No.
Show up in a leather jacket and a white t-shirt and really tight jeans.
I never dated one of those, but I don't think. Nah. Well, I dated at least one person who wore really tight jeans. Anyway, that was a phase. We all suffered through that phase in the church.
That's called the 2000s.
Yeah. Well, it was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
I wore tight jeans because they were hand-me-downs. not by my own fruition.
Your volition.
Sorry, volition.
Anyway, we got to get off of this before we just lose our vocabulary entirely.
I lost that a long time ago.
I love you.
I love you too.
I hope that you guys have a wonderful week and have enjoyed this Frankenstein Together podcast that we spliced from all of our different SD cards.
Yeah.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.